Hey guys, so I've decided to finally tackle my gnarly exhaust leak on my 86 van. I got a request to video log it, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I've disconnected the battery. I am about to take the bolts off the exhaust pipe below, and then I'm going to get started on the throttle body and removing all that. I'm going to be labeling everything super meticulously because I'm going to do this over the course of, I'd say, probably a week or so, and just kind of take my time. Luckily, I have a truck to run and go get parts with and stuff like that, so that's nice. But yeah, so I'm going to be documenting this, so you guys, if you have to do this project in the future, you can kind of follow this. I'm following a write-up on Toyota Van Tech. So that's what I'll be going off of, and I'll link that to the video so you guys can follow that as well. All right, I'm going to be removing these 3 bolts. There's 1, 2, and 3 back there. I've already soaked these things with this PB blaster to loosen them up. I recommend doing that. So let's see how it goes. This one I already loosened up. That's a 14 millimeter. Okay, that one's coming. And the back one. All right, those all came off really easy. Stoked on that. Okay. Now I'll just unthread them with my hand. All right, now I'm getting into the throttle body. I'm going to be labeling all these vacuum lines and everything. Again, just because I'm going to be taking my time on this. And yeah, so we're getting the throttle body off next. We're going to have to remove these, everything. So let's go. Okay, first you're going to have to remove your big intake hose. And then on the bottom of it, you're going to have a couple lines coming from it. So you want to get those off first and remember where those go. Okay, so that's pulled off. It's a little bit, you gotta work it a little bit to get it off. It's kind of tight in there. But now I'm gonna remove these guys here. All right, it's done. Now we're gonna get into this. So we're gonna remove these guys first. Get that one off when I have my hands free. And then we're gonna have 4 12 millimeter bolts. There's 1, 2, 3 back there, and then there's a 4th one under. I think there's a 4th one back there. So disconnect all those. All right, I've got the throttle body loosened up. Now you have 2 hoses under here, 1, 2, that you're gonna need to disconnect. I'm gonna leave them connected to the throttle body itself and just disconnect the other ends. Okay, throttle body is loose. Pulled off that coolant hose. And then this one back here I'm having trouble pulling off because I don't really have room, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the EGR modulator off here first. Alrighty, so that's all done. Next, we're gonna be taking out the EGR, and there's a bolt there. There's one back behind here. They look like probably 12 millimeter. And then we've got one down below, so let's see if we can take a look at that real quick. Let's see. Right here. We're gonna have to undo that. So here we go. Okay, I got the nuts off up top. I had to go to the store to get a 15/16 inch wrench, so to get this one. So it's pretty loose. It came off pretty easy. So you're gonna need a 15/16 on that. Okay, now it's gonna pull right out from the top here. A little maneuvering. Let's see. Well, I'll get it out. All right, I pulled her out. So note that I'm keeping everything really orderly and together when I can. Got my throttle body here, intake here, and assorted bolts and stuff like that. But putting everything in plastic bags, labeling everything, just so I remember. All right, now I'm gonna be disconnecting any hose or electrical connection, including all these, that's gonna be in my way to remove the upper intake manifold here. So that's what's next. All right, a few of these vacuum line hoses here. I got this one off. I broke one over here, so you're gonna have to plan on replacing a couple of these. They're tough. This one's really fucking hard to get, so I'm trying right now. I might break that one too, so we'll see. Sure enough, I broke it. So, yep, you're gonna need to plan on replacing some of those. And pretty much every sensor connector that I disconnect is breaking because they're so fucking brittle. It's probably because it's been so goddamn hot in here from the exhaust leak. And they've just worn out over time, so that's something you're gonna have to deal with as well. All right, this whole piece is gonna come off bracket right here into that, because there's just no way I'm gonna be able to get that little hose off. No way. So taking that whole thing off. That bolt fell down into there. I'm just recording so I'll remember where it went. Also removing these hard vacuum lines. Go down to there. Looks like a fuel line here I'm gonna have to remove. It's connected to the upper manifold. So I think after that I can unbolt the upper manifold and start getting that off. Okay, so there was two Phillips head screws right here in this bracket for this fuel line. So I took those out. There's a little gasket back here, so be careful not to lose that. And then over here, I loosened that up. So my hope is that I can just kind of pivot this whole thing this way. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Oops, I missed that bolt right there. Don't forget that one. And you're actually gonna have to remove that whole bolt to get this out, because there's like a sensor that sticks down into there, and you don't want to be prying on this. So yeah, that's what you got to do. All right, guys, I think I'm just about ready to pull this upper manifold off. So I think I got everything disconnected, pretty sure, and out of the way. This is kind of in the way, but I'll figure that out in a minute. But yeah, I guess that's the next step. Making progress. Okay, there's a little vacuum line. It looks like I missed right there. I'm gonna pull that off too. So it looks like I'm gonna have to pull off this whole bracket and those vacuum lines back there. Looks like there's two bolts, one way back there, and then there's this one here. So this is behind the manifold. Okay, I got those. You're gonna want to use a crescent wrench because it was hard for me to get my you know, this guy in there. But yeah, the one in the back's pretty tough. You got to squeeze your hand way back there and kind of just work it. With the little crescent wrench, is a 10 millimeter. All right, so here's your bolts you're gonna need to remove on the upper manifold. I already took this nut off of this bolt. It's got your electric connections there. And then you've got two here. There's one right there. And then there's one right there. You've got another bolt right here. And you've got two back here. I think one's up there and one's right there. And then your last one's gonna be back there. So we're gonna take all those off right now. Okay, sorry, I think there's one here. There's two here. There's one there. There's one here, not two. And then there's one there. Okay, I've got all those bolts off. I still need to disconnect this, but it's important to keep everything in order because these are different sizes. So this is the very back one, then it goes from there. And there was two on that one, so that's the lower one, upper one. And then I've got this nut here that connected to the electric attachment. Okay, she's loosened up. So now we're gonna go about taking her off. Okay, still got some things connected on the underside here. So I gotta check that out. All right, so there's a hose back there that I missed. I think a couple vacuum lines. So I'm gonna take a break right now because I gotta eat something, get some water. My hand's cramping up being back in that tight position. And then I'll get back to it. All right, so there's the upper manifold. Okay, so what was stuck underneath is a hose that went to that, and then there was a vacuum line right there. It was like that back there. Also to note, there's a, let's see here, or this was like this. Okay, so this was like this. That's where the hose was that was sticking it. That's where the vacuum line is. And there's another 12 millimeter bracket back here. Mine wasn't attached on the other side. I don't know why, but when you're taking that those vacuum lines off of the back, it's gonna be right past your second one. It's way back there, so remember that. And here's what it looks like with the top manifold off. Now I'm gonna have to start dealing with fuel lines and stuff like that. You're gonna remove this bracket, a couple 10 millimeter screws, and then the fuel rail is gonna be next. And then we're gonna unplug all of our injectors. Fuel rail is next. You got a bolt there, nut there, 12 millimeter, and then back here. Another one right here. You gotta loosen up, banjo fitting. Yeah, make sure you leave these bolts in before you disconnect your banjo fittings on this side and on this side, just because you need the leverage. when you pull the fuel rail off, these are going to be in there, so make sure you don't lose them. Don't pop them off. So this is what it looks like now. Now I'm going to remove all my injectors. They've got these little clips. See these little metal clips that you got to take off so they pop off. Little metal clips. Pretty easy to pry off. Alright, the fuel rail is now removed. I've got my injectors labeled here. 1, 2, 3, 4, just to remember. And now I think we could get on to the hardest part. That's pulling the lower manifold. We'll see if I got it in me today. I'm pretty beat right now. Alright, so I'll show you where the nuts that nuts and bolts are we need to remove for the lower manifold. First, there's two that are going to be right under where that fuel pulsation dampener was, under here. And again, I'm missing one for some reason, and the other one is down there. So you're going to remove those. You're going to remove all 4 of the upper bolts or nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the hard part is there's gonna be a couple that are underneath. So you're gonna have to get the right length extensions, and there's a channel right here, goes back underneath, and a channel right here goes back underneath. So that's gonna be the tricky part. So I'm gonna get started on it and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, all the top bolts, nuts are all off. They were all pretty loose. This one was super loose. So I don't know, maybe that could be causing some of the problem. Now I'm gonna go for the lower ones. Wish me luck. Okay, so I'm going to give you an idea of what we're going for here. So we're going under these 2 channels. There's one here and one here. We're going underneath them, channel back there. And you can actually see where your bolts are back here. See, there's one right there, back in there, that you're going to shoot for. And then there's another right there. Man, it's a bitch to get to them. I'm gonna go to the store and get some different size extenders so I can figure out what combo and size I need to be able to make that happen, because it's pretty tough. Okay, I got that first bolt, that first nut off down there. I'm going to show you the setup I used. So I used a 6-inch extension with the socket on it. I put it in down there, got it into the slot first. Got it under there, into that slot first. And then I got down there and added a 3-inch extension. This is how I had to do it. I had to get that in there first, then add a 3-inch extension. And then on top of that, hold on a second, I added this guy, the swivel. So I put that in. Sorry, I'm trying to film into this. So I put that in there. So then it was like that. And then I added another 3-inch to that. So it was like that. And then I was able to crank it and get it out of there. So it's quite the setup. So you got a 6-inch, a 14-inch socket, 6-inch, 3-inch, swivel, another 3-inch. God damn. Now I'm gonna go for the second one.